Gents, to a video where we're going to talk about the time allocation for scaling your agency from 1K to 10K MRR, a pretty monumental shift from 5 figures to 6 figures. So my name is Taylor Bencherian, and I want to walk you through this because the previous video that we made talked about the time allocation for starting an agency, which if you didn't see that video, this is the chart, but you can go back and watch that video. It was 2 or 3 videos ago. And this one's gonna be really useful for you if you're doing, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 a month. You only got maybe one client. Fantastic. This is gonna be useful for you. Okay. So we have the agency sectors. Let's go through each of these sectors one by one, ladies and gents, starting with operations. Actually, fundamentals. This is where I want to start really. 10% of your time should be still going into fundamentals, which is like surveying the market, reflection time, mindset, understanding who your ideal client profile is. None of these things necessarily take a whole lot of time, like even mindset. You can probably go pretty deep into mindset and read a lot of books, but in terms of just like daily, envisioning your goals and reflecting on what your goals are and all this, like it's not like it takes 8 hours a day. You can probably spend 30, 40 minutes a day and you'll be fine. Marketing, huge chunk of the pie. In fact, it's one of the biggest, and it's biggest for a good reason. Prospecting, content creation, relationship building, Dream 100. These are really the things that you should be spending the majority of your time on when you're doing only, 1K per month or 2K or 3K per month. Even if you're at 10K MRR, I would still argue that not much changes in the marketing sector of this pie chart. You should still be spending a large majority of your time on marketing. Okay, always. But especially in the early stages, and the reason for that is ultimately because if you lose one client or 2 clients, you might lose half your revenue. And if you have somebody hired, that can be detrimental, and you might have to lay somebody off because you're still in those awkward early stages where one big client leaving you can cut 60% of your revenue or 50% of your revenue, etc. So it's important that you spend time in marketing, you keep your pipeline full of good opportunities, prospecting, content creation, relationship building, Dream 100. These are the things I recommend you do. Now, sales. It's really not going to take a whole lot of time in the beginning. It's just not a very time-consuming thing. Sales, to me, in my opinion, is you're hopping on a discovery call. So if somebody comes into your website and books a call with you, or reaches out to your responds to your outbound campaign or communication, and they book a call, cool, you'll probably hop on discos, which are discovery calls, and then sales calls, and then you'll have follow-up and some basic pipeline management in terms of just understanding who you've done sales calls with, who's in the pipeline, who may close, and who you should follow up with. This isn't going to take a whole lot of your time. If you're working 60 hours in the week, 6 hours in a week at most is probably going to be spent on this. It's probably going to be less. Operations. Obviously, you're going to have clients at this stage, right? Because you're doing you have some revenue coming in. If you're outsourcing, your service delivery, which I don't necessarily like. I don't like the idea of all you need to focus on is marketing and sales and outsource everything to a white label service. Maybe I'll make a video on this. I don't necessarily like that, and there's reasons for that, especially if you're just starting out. But operations is really just about servicing the clients, improving the existing systems, bookkeeping, basic standard things that you need to be able to run the business. You could probably put bookkeeping under finance, but I listed it here for whatever reason. Now, you might be looking at this and thinking, wait, I'm only spending 30% of my time servicing my clients. Yes, and if you're spending 90% of your time and you're only doing $1,000 a month or $2,000 or even $3,000 per month, and that's taking up the majority of your time, something's way off. Something's really wrong. Either your service is too complicated, you're offering too many things, your clients are too needy, or you haven't set proper expectations. There's something wrong going on. You should be able to ultimately do, even like by yourself, 5 to 10K per month and only spend 30 to 40% of your time servicing clients, potentially even less if you have like a virtual assistant that's well-trained on certain processes. Okay, so HR, 5% of your time. Typically, the reason why this is because you probably don't need anybody hired at this time. You maybe need to hire a virtual assistant, but that's super easy. I've talked about this before. You can use a great website called onlinejobs.ph. I highly recommend it. Created by a founder friend in Utah, if I'm not mistaken. And that's a great website. So I highly recommend you use it. I have no affiliation with it whatsoever. I don't make any commission if you go and use that website. So anyways, 5%, because if you get to like, you know, 5 to 7, 8-ish K per month, you may want to think about hiring somebody that isn't just a virtual assistant. And so that may take a little bit of time. And then finance, you know, once a month, you're going to review the books, review everything, make sure it looks good. And there's not a whole lot of bookkeeping to do. There's not a whole lot of invoices or AR to manage because you're doing so little revenue. So this is ultimately, I think, a good pie chart for where your time will likely be going as you scale from 1K to 10K. Obviously, it's going to fluctuate a little bit over time. Again, these are kind of averages, but hopefully you found some value in this, ladies and gents. And if you found value in any of the videos we've done in this channel, please subscribe and support. There will be more videos coming in the future. I'll see you guys in the next videos. Much love. Ciao.